Welcome back everyone to Larry and Amy's Kitchen. Let me ask you a question. Who likes macaroni and cheese? In fact, it might be better to say or ask who doesn't like macaroni and cheese. Well, today we're going to show you how we can make macaroni and cheese, but with a little different twist. So, instead of using the normal elbow macaroni, we are going to be using egg noodles. Now, I'm going to be using a 1-pound bag of medium egg noodles. I've got a small partial bag here that I'd like to use up also, so I'm going to go ahead and throw that in. But as far as you're concerned, I've got some water on the stove boiling right now. We're just going to dump that in there. And then I'm going to take this other bag and put it in. If there's a little bit left over, that's fine, because I remember as a kid, I'd wake up sometimes in the morning, and I know as silly as it sounds, I'd eat cold macaroni and cheese for breakfast. So, you can't go wrong with that. So we're going to take this and dump that in there too. And that's definitely going to give us a healthy bowl full of noodles. It'll take a few minutes for this to cook. So in the meantime, while this is cooking, and you just might want to stir it just once in a while, make sure nothing is sticking at the bottom of the pan. Here's where we're going to make a little bit different twist to the macaroni and cheese. We're going to add some beef stew. And this is some beef stew that we got at the meat market, and I've divided it up into roughly 1-pound packages. I'm going to spray this just a little bit with a canola oil. I'm going to dump this beef stew right in there. And we're going to throw an 8-ounce can of mushrooms in there with it also. We love mushrooms. You can add whatever you want, or just leave it strictly egg noodles and American cheese. And you know me, guess what? We're going to be adding some onions to this also. Now, I don't know how many people have had macaroni and cheese with onions, but I guarantee you, if you'll do it the way that we're doing it, you can't go wrong. You'll love it, and it will taste so good. Now, I just turned the eye on to start heating that up. In the meantime, I'm going to take some garlic powder. I love garlic on everything. In fact, this is a brand new bottle. Garlic doesn't last too long around this house because I use it on a bunch of recipes. We'll put this back on here. And then I'm going to just liberally, if I can get that word out of my mouth, sprinkle some garlic on there. And even though we've got onions in with the beef stew, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of onion powder too. Our noodles are boiling just fine as we're doing this. Already starting to enlarge. Throw a little pepper in with our beef stew. I use a lot of pepper too. Pepper is supposed to be good for you. I don't know in what ways, but I've always heard it's good for you. And naturally it has no calories in it. As if we're really counting calories when we make this. A little bit of salt, which you can also add at the table if it's not salty enough for you. So now we're going to stir this up a little bit and get this to cooking. We're going to make sure that our onions are soft, caramelized, I guess they call it. And our beef stew is done through and through. And while we're waiting for that to happen and our noodles to cook, they won't take long. I think what we're going to do is take a short break, and we will come back when this is ready to mix together, and I'll show you what I do next. Okay everyone, it's been about 10 minutes or so. I've been letting the noodles cook, and the stew beef with onions and mushrooms, they are pretty much done. So the first thing I'm going to do is drain my noodles. So give me 1 second. Get the water out of that. Then we're going to put the noodles back in. I've got a half a stick of butter here that I like to add to the noodles. Right there, it'll melt pretty quick. I just turned the noodles off, and if I need to, I'll turn them back on low, because next we have the well, I'll tell you what, I think next I'm going to go ahead and add the beef stew with the mushrooms and onion. Let's put that right in there. Transfer that heat right to the noodles. And last but not least, let me grab the cheese.
So I can get a good look at that.
I've got some American cheese here. I actually had some sliced American cheese, and I had a small chunk of American cheese. So in order to use it all up, I just cut it all up and everything. I don't know, this could be it's a little more than a half a pound, I guess, of American cheese. But we're going to dump that in there. And if you're like me, you like your macaroni and cheese very cheesy. And now I'm going to turn this eye back on low, I think, to help keep the heat in there. And now we just kind of take our time and stir this all in so that the cheese will begin to melt along with the butter that we added to it. And I hope you can see this real well.
Yeah, I've got them right up on it.
Okay. I just take my time and stir this. As the cheese melts, that way we're also mixing up all the cube steak, onions, mushrooms in the mixture. Just kind of reach down in there and pull it back up. It won't take long for this cheese to coat everything. Like I said, we will definitely have some left over, but not a problem. You can heat it up tomorrow and have it again for lunch, if that's what we prefer. It's starting to, cheese is starting to melt pretty good now. Takes a minute to get started.
I know.
I don't know if you can hear it, but we've got quite a rainstorm going on outside. We're hoping we don't lose our power. It's living here in the hills of West Virginia, that is not uncommon due to all the trees and power lines. So let's hope that doesn't happen tonight. Alright, still a little bit of cheese that hasn't melted yet, but that's the thing about this is you just take your time. You want to make sure that you got a good coating over everything. I have to hold the pot, it wants to slide around. I don't know if you can tell it in the camera or not, but everything is getting a nice coating of cheese on it. We've got a little bit left still to melt.
And the rose.
Now, the beef stew that I put in here, like I said, we got it at our local meat market, and if I had wanted to, I could have taken the time to slice it up even into smaller chunks. If you think the chunks, if you use beef stew, I like to use for this purpose, plus making homemade soup. If you think that you want it smaller, then go ahead, take your time. Cut them in half or cut them in thirds. And that way everybody gets their fair share. Alright. I think we've done a pretty good job of mixing everything up here. There might be another little piece or two of cheese, but that's not a problem. It will continue to melt as it sits in the pot. I've got the eye turned on, or the stove turned on low, and we are ready to serve a plate. So I'm going to take a plate right here. We're going to scoop some of this out with that beef stew, just like that. You can see the cheese that's on there. If you don't like a lot of beef stew, then kind of dig around the sides of it and just go after the macaroni and cheese. But there you have it. We call this macaroni and cheese with a twist. We hope you enjoyed this and hope you'll try it. If you get a chance, give us a thumbs up. Let us know what you think about it. And subscribe if you haven't. Share it with your friends. So, we thank you for watching. And we'll catch you on the next video.